Get out, right now. The words hit me so hard that for a moment I thought I had heard her wrong. My wife had just shouted those words in front of her entire family. What happened next shocked everyone in that room. Because just 2 hours later, the same woman who had kicked me out was standing in the rain, desperately begging me not to walk out of her life forever. My name is Ethan Brooks. I was 38, worked as a project manager, and had been married to my wife Vanessa for 7 years. When we first met, she was kind, funny, and completely down to earth. But after her father's business became successful, everything changed. Her family began treating money as if it were the measure of a person's worth. I wasn't poor, but compared to her wealthy relatives, I was ordinary. For years, I tolerated their jokes. Ethan still drives that old car. Ethan still works a regular job. Vanessa could have done so much better. I stayed quiet because I loved my wife, or at least I believed I did. The breaking point came during her father's 65th birthday party. The event was being held at a luxurious country club. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, while expensive suits and designer dresses filled the room. The moment I arrived, I could feel the judgment in the air. Vanessa barely greeted me. Instead, she spent the evening showing off her wealthy cousins and business connections. I stood alone near the buffet while people whispered behind my back. Then came the disaster. Vanessa's cousin, Derek, a spoiled millionaire who enjoyed humiliating people, raised his glass and laughed loudly. "So, Ethan, tell us all something. How does it feel being the least successful man in the family?" Several guests burst into laughter. I expected Vanessa to defend me. Instead, she smiled. Actually smiled. The room went silent as I stared at her. "Really?" I asked quietly. She crossed her arms. "Maybe if you weren't so sensitive, people wouldn't joke about you." Her words cut through me like a knife. Then Derek continued. "Honestly, Vanessa deserves someone who can match her lifestyle." More laughter followed. I looked directly at my wife. She didn't stop them. She didn't even look uncomfortable. Instead, she nodded. That was when something inside me finally broke. I placed my drink on the table. "Vanessa," I said calmly, "do you agree with them?" She rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, not this again. Answer me." The entire room watched us. Finally, she released a dramatic sigh. "You want the truth? You're embarrassing me." The words echoed through the hall. Every conversation stopped. Then she pointed toward the exit. "If you're going to make a scene, leave." For a moment, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You want me to leave?" "Yes." "Your husband?" "Leave." The humiliation burned inside my chest, but instead of arguing, I simply nodded. For the first time in years, I felt strangely calm. I removed my wedding ring, placed it on the table, and walked out. The entire room froze. No one expected that, not even Vanessa. I got into my car and drove away. As I sat alone in a nearby parking lot, I replayed every insult, every disrespectful comment, and every moment I had ignored just to keep the marriage alive. Then I made a decision I should have made years earlier. I called a lawyer friend. By the time our conversation ended, divorce papers were already being prepared. For the next 2 hours, my phone exploded with messages. Vanessa called 17 times. I ignored every call. Then the text started. "Where are you? Stop being dramatic. Answer me." Then another message arrived. "We need to talk." I didn't reply. Apparently, after I left, several guests confronted Vanessa. Her uncle reminded her that I had helped her family during financial problems years earlier. Her aunt told her that she had publicly humiliated a loyal husband. Even her father criticized her behavior. For the first time, nobody was on Vanessa's side. She realized she had gone too far. 2 hours later, there was a knock on my apartment door. I opened it. Vanessa stood outside. Her makeup was ruined. Her eyes were red from crying. The confident woman I had seen at the party was gone. "Ethan," she whispered. I remained silent. "I'm sorry." I had waited years to hear those words, yet somehow they meant nothing now. She stepped closer. "I didn't mean it." "Yes, you did." "I was angry." No, you were honest. Tears rolled down her face. She reached for my hand. I love you. I slowly shook my head. No, you loved having someone who tolerated being disrespected. Her face collapsed. I handed her an envelope. She looked confused, then she opened it. The moment she saw the divorce documents, she gasped. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. Ethan, please. For years, I had begged for respect. For years, I had accepted humiliation. Now the roles were reversed, and suddenly she wanted another chance. The irony was impossible to ignore. I gave you 7 years, I said quietly. You gave me 7 years of excuses. She broke down completely, but my decision was final. That night, I closed the door, not out of anger, not for revenge, but because I had finally understood something important. The people who truly love you will never humiliate you just to impress others. And the moment someone asks you to leave your own dignity behind, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Just 2 hours after throwing me out of that family party, my wife lost something far more valuable than her pride. She lost the one person who had loved her even when she didn't deserve it.